Okay, Paul Busby, here's the Supro Comet. It's a little 110, 6 to 14 watt, and I'm miking it with a little Sterling ST69. It's a tube mic, and that's the contraption it runs through. That's where the tube that gives it a little bit warmer sound. And you can see I got one over here in conjunction with a 50 SM57, which is a great combination. But this seems to do pretty good really good by itself. It's probably my favorite mic, and I've tried all kinds of configurations, and I haven't found anything that works better than just draping it over in the front and trying to have the main part of the mic right there at the sweet spot on the speaker. And while I'm here, let's see, that's a Supro. Here's a little Reason amp that I found up in Nashville at Corner Music. I heard some guys playing one, and I just fell in love with it, so I ordered one. They make them up in St. Louis. I think they still make them. It's got one of the greatest little tones you've ever heard. And then behind here is the 66 Deluxe Fender that I got from a guy in Alabama. We met up in Nashville, and this was his 16th birthday present, and I tried to talk him out of selling it to me, but he said nope, he's ready to move on. So that's a real 66 Deluxe Fender. And behind it is another modern Fender, but it sounds really, really good. It's kind of maybe one of those reissues or something, but it's got a great sound. And here is my beloved Marshall 1974X. This was made for a dealer or a rep for Guitar Center about 10 years ago on their, I think it was the 40th anniversary, and I don't guess the guy ever played it. But it's a special hand-wired. I mean, it was supposed to be the cream de la cream because of this dealer that was, or representative that was going to be demonstrating. I don't really think he ever used it much. I got it. He happened to have brought it in Guitar Center. I was in the next morning. They knew what I liked. They pulled it out, and I said, yeah, that's it. So this thing is so unique. It hadn't even got a serial number. They just stapled a piece of plastic on the back and stamped A on it. So it's serial number A. But that's a nice little Marshall. And this used on a lot of ZZ Top stuff too, the same kind, the little 74X. I think it's 18 watt. Here's a Fuchs made by Andy Fuchs up in New York, and Andy's a great guitar player, and he's a great technician, and he was commissioned to work on a Dumble, and while he was doing it, he took some notes and tried to clone it. No secret there. He tells a story on YouTube, and they came up with this whole line. And this is it's really close to a Dumble amp. And another good technician and good player, Todd Sharp, down in Franklin with Nashville Amp Repair. He's a great player. He was with Rod Stewart for years. He was on those tours when they had Legs and all those Hot Legs or whatever that stuff was. He was that guitar player for, I don't know, maybe 10 years, and then he decided to settle down a little bit and start working on amps in Nashville. He's one of those rare guys, and so is Andy Fuchs, that can play the heck out of a guitar, knows an amp inside and out, and can build them and make them look professional. So kudos to Todd Sharp and Andy Fuchs on those two. Here's a real Expandora, a Big Sonic Expandora. I think that one actually did come from Texas, and then Billy recommended this Blackstone, and it really lived up to its hype. It's great. Both of those are great sound. Those are my favorite too. Here's a little Dumbler. Came out of China, I think. That's supposed to duplicate a Dumble sound, but it's okay, but nothing great. Here's some more of my little gadgets. This is OCD distortion box. Troy Lancaster up in Nashville loves them, and I like them pretty good. And there's a little Marshall compressor and the Keeley compressor. Those are really good. And so then I run through this little Focusrite. It's a little 4-channel. I like all the XLR plugs on the front end, and so got that set up there. It's just a real simple thing to use. And then here is this Kemper profiling amplifier. And some guy in Germany came up with this thing, and you can play your guitar or your amp and mic it, or even an acoustic guitar mic, and it'll reproduce exactly the tonal quality and the sonics characteristics. It's like an exact footprint of what that tone is. And people all over the world, you know, record their favorite tones and download them to this site or upload them to this site. And this little amp's, I mean, it'll do anything. It's got thousands of tones from all around everywhere. You know, great studio players. Here's the one I've got dialed in. This is a real Dumble. Somebody had a Dumble. This may have been in L.A. or Nashville, but it's an overdrive special, and that's one of the greatest sounds that this little Kemper has. But people are continually uploading new things. And we run all this into a 27-inch iMac I got used on eBay. And it's a 32 gig with a processor of, I think, 3.9 4 point maybe, with a turbo boost up to about 4.2 or 3. And you could probably, I don't know, gosh, run, I don't know, 100 tracks without a hiccup on this thing. And it's a Logic Pro X is the program. It's an Apple product made for an Apple computer, so it's just trouble-free. You just can't hardly make it mess up. But what I've done here, back to the Supro Comet, is I've imported the intro of Down Brownie, because that's a good one that has Billy's tone on it, with just the guitar and no other instruments, so you can really hear what that one guitar and that amp sounds like. And then I played the Supro here. I've got it called Down Brownie Soundcheck. But here's the original here. And what I'm going to do is hit solo, which will mean the only thing we'll start off hearing is Gibbons on the Down Brownie track off of Rio Grande Mud, and then I'll take it off, and then you can hear the Supro come in and go back and forth, so you can hear the sound comparison. And I just use this, you know, the Down Brownie off. This is the vinyl mix. It's not that later mix. This is the real thing from back in the day, the original that they cut down at Robin Hood Studio down in Tyler. But this is the one that came off the vinyl. This is the good one, and I use that as a benchmark, trying to recreate and reproduce or create the best that I can that old Gibbons sound, which I think it and maybe Clapton are the two best of the, you know, of that early era, when they were coming out with these, starting to use these 59 Les Pauls and these Marshalls. So here it is. We'll start off with just Gibbons. So that's it. That's the Supro, played with my 56 Gold top with, ironically, Jeff Beck antiquities. I've got some Pearly Gates, some Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates, but they're in the sunburst I've got. But I've got the 56 Gold top. I'm using Jeff Beck antiquities in it, and it really kicks. So anyway, that's it. I don't think that I can get any closer to that tone from those first two albums that they did, unless I could bring back a 22-year-old Billy Gibbons with Pearly Gates and 11 or maybe even 12 gauge strings, running through a 100-watt Marshall super lead like Robin Hood Studios did back in whenever that thing was cut, 70, 71, 72, somewhere along in there. So anyway, that's the Supro as compared to Pearly Gates. That's my 56 and the Supro compared to Pearly Gates and Billy in that 100-watt super lead.